Well, hello everybody. It is a Monday, the 24th of October, 2022. This is Cast to the Other Side, and I'm Douglas Frazier. And I'm here to share with you what God puts upon my heart. I don't know how to put it any other way. Those are the tips that I want to share with you. Those are the blessings that I have received, I want to share with you. We've been sharing the wisdom of God coming through from the book of Proverbs. We're going to continue with that. And a little bit more today. I've got something that I think if you're a fisherman, you will want to stay tuned for, because it is critical that you understand this. If we look now at Proverbs 24, I'm going to give you just a couple of verses here. 24:3 says, "Through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established." That house being built can be referred to as your life. It can also, as you get older, it can talk about you and your spouse. As wisdom and through wisdom, you are built. You and your spouse are built as a couple, and you will build up and establish by understanding your home and your life. In verse 4 it says this, "By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious riches." Wow, that's a promise. When you gain the knowledge of God, when you have the wisdom and the understanding of God, the things that you want to fill in your house, the things you want to fill in your life, you're going to fill with things that are precious and pleasant riches. I would hold to that. If you're going to read anything today, I would say go and read Proverbs 24 and begin to look at it as it applies to you, and you begin to capture and hold to the words that were passed on to all of us. Now, I told you there was something special that I wanted to go back to. You know, when I started this broadcast, this channel, I got the inspiration from John, the 21st chapter and verse 3. I'm going to turn there now. John 21:3. And this is after Jesus has been crucified. He has risen from the dead, and his disciples, most of which were fishermen, and Jesus said, "I'm going to make you fishers of men," which they continued to be and changed the world. Simon Peter said to them, "I am going fishing." And they said to him, "We're going fishing with you." They went out and immediately got into the boat, and that night they caught nothing. They caught nothing. These guys are seasoned fishermen, but does that happen? Hey guys, gals, if you go fishing, do you go out and sometimes catch nothing? Yep, I do that quite often. But Jesus is standing on the shore, and he says this in verse 6. And he said to them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you'll find some." Guess what? They did. Now, I want to go back to the beginning. And we find this in Luke, the book of Luke, in chapter 5. That's why I said this is important. If you're a fisherman, if you're following this channel, you'll understand why this is important. Jesus chose as his first disciples fishermen. It says here, "So it was as the multitude pressed about him to hear the word of God that he stood by the lake of Gennesaret," also sometimes called more often the Sea of Galilee. "And he saw two boats standing by the lake. But the fishermen had gone from them and were washing their nets." Stand by. "Then he got into one of the boats, which was Simon's, Simon Peter. Oh. And he asked him to put out a little farther from the land. And Jesus sat down and taught the multitudes from the boat. When he had stopped speaking, he said to Simon, 'Launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch.'" Now here's Simon, he's speaking. Remember, he's the professional fisherman. He knows about catching fish. He'd already been tending his nets. He'd been out probably all night again. And Simon said, "Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net." If you go back to John 21, they had a similar situation. They hadn't caught any fish, yet Jesus was there waiting for him. What did they do? Simon answered and said to him, "Master, we have toiled all night, caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net." They did the same thing in John 21. They let down their net again. What happened? "And when they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their net was breaking." In both cases, these professional fishermen, here is the beginning of their relationship with Jesus in the book of Luke. And Luke records this. "And Jesus said to Simon, 'Do not be afraid. From now on, you will catch men.'" You will be fishers of men. You see, each of us as a Christian are called to be fishers of men. Whether we have ever touched a fishing pole, a net, or anything else, it doesn't matter. We are called to be fishers of men. And when we follow the guidance and directions of Jesus, and I'll go and I'll revert back to that live scope again. Down, 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 down. Jesus said, "Let down your net." And they had a great haul. The live scope, you go down, they tell you where to stop. You might have a great haul. So when you tie all of this together with what I have shared out of Proverbs 24, again, through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. Your wisdom and my wisdom is found within the Word of God. Think about this. Everything that each one of those disciples knew, the original 12 and those that were added on, those from the early church, they had everything recorded, and it's recorded for us. So everything that Jesus spoke, well, almost everything that Jesus spoke and it was recorded, we have. So what they received, we receive in His Word. The blessings that they expected, we can expect because it came from Jesus. His Word is truth and it doesn't change. So I'm sharing this with you, passing on the best that I know, the best tips that I know. If you want to become wise and understanding and build up a great future, it's all right here. It's all right here. All you have to do is put down your nets and begin to haul out what you can pull out and what God promises for you. This is Douglas Allen Frazier closing out today's session of Cast to the Other Side. And I guarantee you this, just as I am speaking from the words of Jesus, cast down your nets, let them down, and you will pull up a great catch. God bless you all. We will see you tomorrow, and we look forward to every day that Jesus gives us to be blessed by the wisdom and the understanding of His Word. See you tomorrow.